You're listening to the Business to Bigness Road to 6 Billion podcast. I'm your host, Chloe Love. Since 2011, I've helped over 500 entrepreneurs and small businesses brand and launch successful companies while helping them obtain over 20 million in funding. In addition to that, I have funded and co-funded over 5 companies that have growth between 7 and 8 figures in revenue. Today, I focus most of my time teaching, training, and mentoring the next generation of entrepreneurs, small business owners, and creative talent. That's why I created Business to Bigness Road to 6 Billion, a weekly podcast that will take you on my journey to achieving my 6 billion goal while sharing my experiences and perspectives in order to educate you in the areas of branding, funding, business development, mindset, and more. You may be wondering why 6 billion? 6 is my life path number. It's the amount of people I want to impact, and it's the wealth I'd like to achieve in this lifetime. So whether you're working on your first 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, billion, or even trillion, this podcast is for you. To submit questions or request information on a specific topic, receive updates, or contact me, visit www.chloelove.com and subscribe to my email list. Without further ado, let's get to business. Hello, my clovers, and welcome to another episode of Business to Bigness Road to 6 Billion. Today's episode is titled Don't Put Me in a Box. And I know that this is a pain point for some of us and a struggle for some of us, right? Putting our own selves in a box, trying to get out that box, and all of the above. As you know, we start each episode with a quote. So today's quote goes, "The best fighter is not a boxer, karate, or judo man. The best fighter is someone who can adapt to any style. He kicks too good for a boxer, throws too good for a karate man, and punches too good for a judo man." And that comes by way of the late, great Bruce Lee. And I love this quote because it speaks to being able to have multiple skills and to be able to be highly skilled in multiple areas. There's a saying, it goes, jack of all trades, but the end of that is king of none. I don't want to be king of none. I want to crown everything I do. So I'm trying to be king of all trades, queen of all trades, and make sure that I ace all of them. You can be equally talented in multiple areas of your life or in multiple areas of just talent genres. And for some reason, it seems to confuse people or it seems to offend people. And we end up suffocating our passions and our ideas because you hear things like, you're doing too much, or people won't understand your brand, or this is something that's solid. Don't get caught up with these big ideas and then mess up a good thing. And a lot of the times we end up staying stagnant, right? Because change is something that is constant. No matter what, there's going to be change. And because we're constantly going through different experiences, we're constantly coming in contact with different things in life, we're always growing in talent and experiences. And it's inevitable that over time, sometimes our passions change because our perspectives change. We're introduced to things we didn't know existed before, or we didn't know how we would feel about those things. So is it not okay to then test the waters? Is it not okay to then say, I want to do this. I've done this for a long time, or I've done this in a great way, but I also want to be great in this. And we see this a lot where, particularly in the entertainment industry, sometimes it's almost like they're ashamed if they can do something else outside of what they're known for. They're afraid that people won't take them serious in that other area. And I just think it's so sad. I remember when Michael Jordan left basketball and he tried to play baseball for a while. Granted, he wasn't as great of a baseball player as he was as a basketball player, but he would have never known if he didn't try. And he loved baseball, and most athletes all around, they're athletic. They're good at whatever sport they can play. but he was good. He can beat any regular Joe Schmo, average guy, or even minor league guys. But for those who only focused on that, it wasn't a fit for him. But nonetheless, he was still good at it. He still got the life experience. He still got to play out his passion and realize it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes, we put ourselves in a box because we're afraid to fail. We're afraid to experience. We're afraid to be judged. And coming out of that box and allowing yourself to experience different things and try different areas, you're going to fail in some. Accept it, welcome it, learn from it. Because it's better to try at something and fail than to fail at trying at all. That's where the real failure is. And there's something called failing forward. So, failing forward is when you try something, you're not good at it, it doesn't work out, and you either restructure the plan and move forward, or you pivot and learn the lesson. But nonetheless, you're moving forward because you've tried a thing, you've experienced a thing, and you were able to make a conclusion about that thing. And whether it's a passion of yours where you just want to keep something a hobby or you want to make it a business, you're never going to know until you actually put those things into action. But let's talk about those who are multifaceted and, have a lot of things going on at the same time. That's me. I'm that person. I've been guilty of that so many times. And it can be exhausting. It could be exhausting if you're a solopreneur or if you have a small team, because when you have a lot of things going on, you have to be able to give each thing its proper care, its proper attention, its proper development, and its proper, so in some cases, the budget. The budget may vary depending on what it is, but if it's just you and you're trying to delegate all these things or navigate through all these things on your own, something is going to suffer. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And it doesn't mean that you're not multifaceted. It doesn't mean that you're not multi talented. It doesn't mean that you have to sit in a box. It just means that there has to be structure and strategy on how you roll things out of that box. So I want you guys to be mindful of that, because the other part of it is not just getting the pushback from people or the negative comments from people. It can also make you feel discouraged from moving forward and really fulfilling those goals and those hopes and those dreams, because it's too hard. It's too time consuming. It seems impossible. It's like running on a hamster wheel, if you will. And the best way to avoid those things is to try to focus on the main thing that you want to be known for, or the thing that you're most passionate or excited about. And think about creative ways that you can incorporate those other things. That's actually why I created the brand morphing technique. Not a shameless plug, but this course is what helps you bring in all those different areas of yourself to create one good, unique, great, you. It doesn't mean that you have to like take everything out of that box, even if you don't want to be in a box, and smush it all into one thing. But there's a way to make your thing unique to you because of all those other dynamics about yourself that makes you so multifaceted. And that's what brand morphing is about, right? So, like, I'm talking to someone who loves horror movies and loves to cook. So I'm like, you can do a show inspired on dishes around your favorite horror movies. Like, there's a way to incorporate what you love to do where you can do more than one thing at the same time. And now people who love horror movies know what they should be chefing up or what they should be ordering, so that, they have that dinner in a movie. And, that's just one way off the top of my head that you can bring together different dynamics of yourself to showcase those different talents, right? Like, let's say you have a podcast and you're talking about business and branding, but I also like to paint, right? I can talk about business and branding of people in art. Or if I have a YouTube channel, I can talk about business and branding in any industry, but have my art surrounded and mention that, I love to draw. This is, where the vision comes from. I can brand myself on my channel and showcase those different dynamics while showcasing the things that I'm talking about. So this is why I invented the brand morphin technique, not only for brands who are singular to stand out, because it marries your life experiences, your skills, your mindset, your perspective, your characteristic traits. You marry that to your products and services so that you can fully connect to your tribe in an emotional way that they feel like, yeah, you did this for me, because you're talking to the people who would love this. But it's also fulfilling for you to see the best parts of you rolled out in your products and services. And if you are multifaceted, if you got a lot of things going on, and you can bring all of that in, or a lot of those components into something to make it that more unique, then that's fulfillment. You're able to fulfill different areas of your life through this one thing. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please, I'll put it in the show notes. Go check out this brand morphing course. It will definitely change how you do things, whether you're a singular brand or you're multifaceted. But what it helps you to do is to be taken out of that box, right? If you're a candle company and all you want to do is candles, people can put you in a box about candles. Well, it's just another candle company, but your candle company could focus on non-toxic components and healing agents in your candle, that when you smell it, it opens up your lungs. It brings different vibrations into your body. Like, your candles could be very unique to your experience. Maybe you went through something spiritually, maybe you went through something physically, and you created a line of candles that really spoke to that. Maybe you love herbs and things like that, so your candles burn different herbs, which is one part of you that you're also bringing to another part of business, bringing that aspect in, right? And then maybe after that, you create, you grow from there, you expand from there, you create content, uh, videos, books, ebooks on the different herbs that you're using in your candles, and how even outside of the candles they can help you. So now you're educating and you're making money off of those ebooks, off of that content. And who knows, maybe you come out with your own herb line after that, but it stemmed from these candles and it grew from there. And you were able to fuse two things together that made you unique, that was very unique to your life experience, and kick it out the ballpark. I met a girl who, she, before everyone was doing this charcoal toothpaste, she had her own natural toothpaste that she created because of her necessity. She was literally like allergic to everything, like damn near air. And she couldn't use any toothpaste, whether it was natural, without her gums swelling up and different things happening to her. And as you can imagine, this was very frustrating. And she was very into health and wellness and, mental and physical wellness. So she created this toothpaste for herself and started talking about all the things, in specifically toothpaste, that are bad for your body, like that can mess with your mental, everything. And something created for herself, people started demanding for them, to the point where she needed to manufacture this because she couldn't make it by hand anymore. She needed to be able to do it in bulk. That's something that was created from a love of wellness, from something that had happened to her, and bringing information and product together. Now, let's say she also loved art, right? Maybe different flavors have different art on it, right? Or maybe the branding is very unique to her eye for art. There's just so many ways to incorporate parts of you and to serve the different parts of you in doing one thing, where you don't have to feel like you're all over the place, but you can bring it to the forefront and then monetize and expand individually from it. And that's the things that we have to learn. We don't have to be put inside of a box. We just have to know how to properly navigate outside of that box. We can't be afraid to change, to pivot. And we can't be afraid of failing, because you can fail forward. You can learn something, you can grow from it, and You know, we are regardless, you learn from it. Whether you learn it was for you or not, it was a lesson. And the only way to have lessons is through experience. So if we stop ourselves from experiencing things, then we're literally stopping ourselves from learning and growing. So don't allow fear to be a factor. Don't allow the fear of failure to be a factor. My doctor, who delivered my kids, well, one of my kids, my first son, he was in hospitality for years. He ran some of the biggest groups and he was paid very well. He had about maybe 15 years or 20 years in the business. And then he decided he wanted to become a doctor. I think he decided he wanted to become a doctor at like 50. And he went back to school, or like at 45 or something like that, 48. He went back to school and he became a doctor. And I think he was 5 years in by the time he got to me. But my experience with this man was so amazing. And this is my first child. I'm petrified. I have to deliver this baby. I'm like, I don't know how this baby's getting out. It was just so much going on. And the way he was able to cater to my needs, to run his team, and just give me that hospitality experience during delivery was amazing. The way he made me feel safe, he made me feel comfortable, he made me feel like this was a luxury experience. The team was in sync. He had a good hold of his team on how he ran his team and how they were in sync with his personality in showing up and making sure that I felt good, that I was comfortable, that I was mentally supported. I literally, my first baby, and he's cheering me on the whole way. This guy's like the best coach ever. He's cheering me on the whole way. I literally, we started the labor process of me actually delivering. My delivery was 18 minutes for my first child. And I remember him saying, like, no, you're a pro. You're great at this. You sure this is your first baby? But that all came from his background in hospitality, making people feel good, creating amazing experiences for them. Look how that came back into him being not just a great doctor and knowing what he's doing, but also a doctor that made you feel great about what he was doing. That's how you marry things. That's how, not being afraid to move forward, to try new things, to start over sometimes, because that was literally starting over, going back to medical school. But had he not done that, I would have never had that experience. And I'm so grateful that he did. My second son, he wasn't at the hospital when I delivered him. And I must say, it was a terrible experience. It was very terrible. And I'm not saying he's the only doctor that could have done that, but you felt the difference. You felt the difference from what his experience was, from what his background was, and what he brought to medicine, what he brought into that labor room. That was unique to him. That was unique to his life's journey. And you felt that difference. You feel that difference when you're around different people, even though it's the same profession. You feel the person in the brand. You feel who created this and their characteristic trait. You're supposed to feel it, and that's what brand morphing is about. And that's how you allow, like, being multifaceted or having different characteristic traits or strengths and capabilities and skills to come together in one and still serve in that way. I hope that you guys really got the jewels from, what I want what I want to unlock in your minds this week. And I hope that it really opens your mind and your perspective to how you can really show up here and the things that you're capable of doing here, and that you're bigger than just what someone says you are. People want to put you in a box so that they can categorize you so they feel comfortable. You don't have to be comfortable with that. Yes, you need titles and categories so that you can do things like sell and people know where to go find you. But you don't have to subscribe to that's just you. I hope you guys enjoyed. You guys go check out the show notes to get that information. Check out the course. Check out the branding handbook. You're going to need this one to start rolling out all that great multifacetedness. And as always, we end with an affirmation. And today's affirmation is, I want you guys to say this when you're rolling this stuff out, when you're thinking about these ideas and it seems like it's all over the place and you don't know where to start, say this: I am more than just my title. I am more than just my title. Until next time, Clovers, peace out. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. Make sure to go to my website, www.chloelove.com, and join my subscriber list to receive emails where I share tips, updates, opportunities, and discounts to my community. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Chloe Love. Check the show notes for the links, and don't forget to tune into next week's episode. Until then, remember, you can't have $1 million goals with $1,000 skills and $100 worth ethics.